Y'all, hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by, y'all. I am so excited. I know, I'm always so excited, but this is really exciting because today we're going to compare color e-readers. And here's what brought this about. Somebody in my comments, and sorry, I don't remember who it was, but they said that they were debating between getting a Colorsoft and a Kobo because they're both really good. And I was like, oh, I can probably help you out with that. And I don't think we've ever done, so I think we've done a Colorsoft to Kobo Libra Color comparison, but I don't think we've ever done like a battle royale between the Colorsoft, the Kobo Libra Color, and the Kobo Clara Color. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to smash these three together and see who comes out on top. So let's, you know what? If y'all are like, why are you sitting in the floor, country? I know, because if you watch my other videos, you know that like well, you don't know where I am, but my kitchen's over there and the light in the kitchen is super, super warm. And sitting here, there's a window right there. So I'm actually in natural light. I tried having the lights on and it just made an awful glare. So I'm gonna try to see what I can do sitting in this natural light, sitting in the floor like the country girl that I am. But I want to go over, first I want to talk about just some basic specs of the three devices, but I'm not going to get deep up into the weeds on any of them. If you have any questions about any of the three devices, just either drop it in the comments, or I've done deep dives. I mean, I've done dive after dive after dive on the Colorsoft. We're going to, well, you'll see in a minute what we're talking about, but I'll link all of my deep dive videos here so you can either go back and look at those, or if you ain't down with all that, and I don't blame you if you're not, just drop your questions in the comments and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. But in the meantime, I just want to go over a quick comparison between the three devices. And I want to talk about how they differ so that if you're trying to decide on a color e-reader, hopefully this will help you. If you're trying to decide between Kobo and Colorsoft, hopefully this will help you decide. And y'all, if you're like, why did you buy a new e-reader? The Color Scribe is finna come out. I know, these ain't new. I mean, this one's kind of new, but quit it out. Stop judging me. The Color Scribe is still on coming soon. So I'm not saying I'm gonna get that one. I'm not saying I'm planning to get it, but here's what I'm saying. Here's how it goes with me. So new Kindle device, new Kobo device, new whatever device is announced. Here's me once it's announced. I don't need that. I have all the devices. I don't need a new device. Oh, there's a new device. And then the day it drops, I'm like, oh, I want that device, order. So as of right now, I don't plan to get the new Scribe Colorsoft, but stay tuned. But in the meantime, let's talk about these bad boys. So we're going to be comparing, like I think I said, Colorsoft, Kobo Libra Color, and Kobo Clara Color. Now, I might call them different names because I'm old and I forget stuff, but that's what we're doing. So let me get us set up on another camera and we'll get into this. All right, y'all, let's get into this. So here is the lineup, and I'm gonna try not to put my hands in the frame too much because I don't want to mess up the focus, because like the camera will focus on my hands and not the thing and you won't see what I'm trying to show you. But each of these is asleep right now, so you can see what the screen looks like when it's asleep. This is the Kindle Colorsoft, and this is the, well, we're going to get into storage, but this is the 32 gigabyte Colorsoft. So Kindle Colorsoft, Kobo Libra Color, and Kobo Clara Color. And you can see all three of them will show your most recent read when they're asleep, which y'all, to me, like that's worth the price of admission right there. Now, I've had people say it's not worth buying a color e-reader because I don't read comics, I don't read manga, I just read books with pretty covers. And I've had folks say it ain't worth it to buy a color e-reader just to have a pretty book cover. Okay, but if you like to have pretty book covers when you look at your Kindle, it is so well worth it. So this is what they look like asleep. I'm gonna wake each one of them up. Oh, oops. They're all gonna be in books now. Hang on, let me close that book. Okay, so there's each one of them just on sort of like the home page. So let's go over just the basic specs, many of which are the same across all three devices. So the actual display screen of the things, the Kindle is 7-inch, the Libra is 7-inch, the Clara is 6-inch. They're all Kaleido 3 e-ink displays. They're all 300 ppi when you're reading in black and white, and 150 ppi when you're reading in color. Sorry, I'm like I talk with my hands all the time, and I'm trying to keep my hands out of the frame of the e-reader. So if you're like, why do you look like you're such a twitch today? That's why. So 150 ppi when you're reading in color. I don't know if I finished saying that before I interrupted my own self. Storage, the Colorsoft, I just did it again. The Colorsoft, this is the 32 gig, we've talked about this. There's a 16 gig Colorsoft, so this is the 32 gig Colorsoft. So it's 32 gigs of onboard storage. The Libra is 32 gigs of storage. The Clara is 16 gigs of storage. Waterproofness. The Colorsoft and the Libra are both IPX8, which I think that's the, and I've never done it, I'm not gonna try it, but that's the, like, you can drop it in the drink for like, I don't know, 30 minutes in like fresh water and it'll still work, I don't know, something. There's some kind of like degree of you can drop it in the waterness. I ain't gonna try it, but it's not like splash resistant. It's like legit waterproof. So that's the Colorsoft and the Libra. The Clara is not waterproof at all, so don't take it anywhere near the water. Like, don't read it in the kitchen. For audiobooks, each of them supports their own, like, audiobooks within their own ecosystems. So the Kindle supports Audible, and Kindles do text-to-speech, which I've talked about before. Somebody pointed out that they asked if I had ever talked about that. I don't talk about it much because I don't use it, but I should do better. So I'm sorry about that I don't speak of that often, that Kindles do that. The Paperwhite most definitely does that. So it'll do, like, you can listen to your Audible books on it and it'll do text-to-speech, but there's no speaker. So you have to have earbuds to listen to it. The Kobos will do, not Audible of course, but Kobo audiobooks, and they both support those. Stylus, so here, I'll do it over here. Stylus support. Kindle, nope, has no kind of stylus support, no handwriting support, no nothing. The Kobo Libra has, we'll talk about it, but it does have stylus support. Clara, no. Somebody made a comment in one of my Clara videos that you can use like a basic stylus to highlight in the Clara, and I think you can do that with a Kindle too. I think I've messed around with that before, where it's just one of those, like a stylus that's like a finger, but not like a smart stylus kind of thing. Like you can't write in them like you can in the Libra. For wireless charging, the Colorsoft supports wireless charging. The other two do not. This Colorsoft does. Y'all, let me be super specific. I am only going to be talking about the 32 gig Colorsoft, and we'll get to it in a minute, but the 32 gig Colorsoft is like a Kindle Paperwhite that somebody took. Sorry, the felons are over there, and Felon Bo's acting sketch because I made him go lay down because he was bugging me. So that's why I keep looking up. If you're like, why are you looking sketch? That's why, because my dogs are acting sketch. So I'm going to be talking specifically about the 32 gig the 32 gig Colorsoft, which is just like a Paperwhite that somebody took some crayons to. So it supports wireless charging, the other two do not. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and talk about price. The 32 gig Colorsoft today, November something, early November 2025 in the US, like no tax, tag, title, none of that, just the like website cost of the device is $279.99. That's the 32 gig one. This is a Libra. I've had it for a couple of years, but the Libra today is $229.99 and the Clara today is $159.99. So that might figure into your figuring which one you like. All right, so let's get into some stuff. Let's just look at, I have Sonic. Y'all know I always do the same Sonic book. I have Sonic on all three of these. So let's just see if we can see them side by side, just to give you an idea of what the displays look like. So here's the Colorsoft. And this, so on the Colorsoft, and I'm not going to get into the weeds, but you know what? Yeah, okay, so it's set to standard. On the Colorsoft, you can set it to either standard or vivid color. And I thought I had this set to vivid because of how much it's popping, but it's just set to standard, you can see. There's the Libra. You can blow it up, but that's just like standard if you open it up and start turning pages. And then here's the Clara. So you can see, I think, just looking at them here, that the Kindle and the Libra have bigger displays, right? It's easier to see what you're reading. Great for PDFs, great for recipes, great for comics, mangas, all of that stuff. The Clara is smaller, it's more compact. It would be great, like if you're traveling, if you want to take it on the go, and of course you can blow up. You can zoom into what you're reading, but it does require more like refreshing time, more time to load if you do that. So just to give you an idea of the different displays of the things. I think they all have beautiful colors. I think you have to know what you're getting into when you get into e-ink, like reading color on e-ink. I find them to be vibrant, but I think I'm used to looking at e-ink. I've heard people refer to them sort of that it's like reading in watercolor, but I mean, you can see this is what they look like. I hope this is like coming across well on the video. As far as the screens, the Kindle, can you see that? Oh yeah, you can totally see that because of the horrible glare. The Kindle screen is flush, where the bezel, well, hang on, let me take this one's in a case. But you can still see, can you see there there's a lip there on the bezel, and the Clara is the same way. It has a lip on the bezel. So some people are very bothered by that, by the dust that gets in there. So just so you know that. Kindle, of course, is full touch screen. Y'all know where I'm going with this. It's got the double tap to turn pages. Now look, you can turn that off. I've gotten blown up for not talking about this. I have to look for it because I never turn it off. I think it's probably in device options. Yeah, right there. Look, double tap. You can turn that off so that when you move the thing around, it doesn't turn pages on its own. I like it. It reminds me of my annoying students that do things that I tell them not to do or don't do things I tell them to do, so I leave it on, but you can turn it off. Same with like you can set it not to display your book cover as your splash screen. The Colorsoft is fully touch screen. The Libra, of course, has page turn buttons. I've got mine mapped for the top button to turn the page, like to advance a page, the bottom button to go backwards a page. And watch. If I want to read left-handed because my right hand's getting tired of clicking, the buttons map like they remap so that it's still top to turn forward and bottom to turn backwards. I just think that's fancy. But the Kindle is more symmetrical. This one is asymmetrical, but it feels good. It's very ergonomical. Ergonomic? It's a nice shape for holding. The Clara, totally touch screen. And this one is, it's symmetrical as well. Y'all, I don't know if Amazon just has a bug up its backside and refuses to change where the power button is. They have to know we all hate this, but the power button is still in the annoying place right there, so that when you hold it this way, your pinky hits it. So that's still that. The Kobo's power button's on the back, so you don't hit it when you hold the thing naturally on both of these. Oh, and can y'all see that? The back is a little bit like scritchy. It's a little bit texturized, so it feels really good to hold. This is very slidey, and I have to have like a rubber, well, I keep like one of these cheapy rubberized cases on it all the time so that I don't go flinging it all about. Again, getting into weeds that I don't mean to get into. Because this is a paper white, it offers auto adjusting brightness, which folks have told me they don't like that. Like they feel like it's not good, they just turn it off. Or they prefer the other Kindles because this is dumb and there's no sense paying for something you're not gonna use. I don't disagree with you that it's dumb if you're not gonna use it. I like it, But, so that's, it has that. What else? You can read in landscape mode, but you have to like physically change it. Like you have to go, which we've done that before, right? We're not going to get all up into that. Is that magic? The Libra does it automatically. I'm embarrassed to say, I don't know if the Clara does or not. Let's test it. She doesn't. Hang on, let me see. I mean, she does make it easy to do. There's this little menu up here at the top when you're in comics that allows you to, I think, oh no, it just fills up your screen. There are lots of comic and manga specific controls in the Libra and the Clara, but it doesn't flip to landscape on its own. You got to change it. Whatever. These really are very good for reading pretty colorful stuff. I keep swiping instead of tapping so it looks like it's jammed up. It's not jammed up. I'm just a spaz. It's very, very pretty. Anyway, okay, focusing. We talked about, let's turn you back this way. Okay, let's get into a regular book. Let's look at some regular books. Let's get out of, I think we've seen all we need to see in the color stuff. I don't know what's on here. The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. Y'all, we just read this in book club. Oh my goodness, such a good book. I think I'm just going to grab random books because they're not all going to have the same books on them. But it's okay because we're not going to compare anything. I just want you to see text in all three of these. And this one just, this is really like normal. So for text, I feel like the Kobos are not, like you can't refine the look of the page as much as, you can refine it some, but not as much as you can on the Kindle. But Kobo makes it much easier to download like your own fonts and stuff. We've done it on Kindles, we've bootlegged it onto Kindles, but Kobo is just easy. Like Kobo, it's just grab it and drop it on there. So Kobo plays much more nicely with others than Kindle does. Because of course, Kindle is locked into the Amazon ecosystem and they don't want you doing anything else. I'm about to have to move because there's a felon right there wanting to come see it. Come here, buddy, come over here. Come over here, come here. Good boy. Let's get into some actual words on this thing. The Kobo Libra allows you to full on just write right on the thing. So let's say you're reading and you want to like mark in your text, you can just write right on it like you're writing on paper. Or you can highlight. So there's a smart button. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little smart button on the thing. And you can highlight. You can mark up your highlights. The annotation ability on this thing is very, very nice. I think, oh yeah, the eraser is an eraser. Y'all, it is slick. I know I'm all up in y'all's Kool-Aid. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. You can change, I know you're like, why are you writing in blue? How are you possibly writing in blue? I know. You can change all of that. Typically, I would be writing in pink, but I wanted to make sure y'all could see it. I don't know how well you can see that pink, but you can change all of that in here. You can change the thickness. This is a bit, I know I'm getting a little bit deep divey here. So, sorry. But, so here are your fonts. All that stuff is up in here. Deep divey, stop. All I'm supposed to be showing you is the differences. Sorry, I get excited. Focus. Okay, so you can do all of that stuff in here. You can do none of that stuff on either of these other two. Now, you can, of course, highlight. I say you can't do none of that stuff. That's completely disingenuous. You can highlight. Sorry, that's a felon right in front of my camera. Bo, where are you going? Come here. Come lay down. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, so you can highlight in pink, and then if I want to highlight in another color, I think I can just change it right here. Yes, see? So then I can have different colors. I can sort by my different color highlights. So I can do that. I can add notes. So let's say I want to add a note here. Note. So you absolutely can annotate using the Kindle. It's just different. And I don't know that it's any less effective. It's just different. It's not handwriting. You're not, you can't handwrite directly into the text. So there's that. I think that's where the Kobo really shines. And I'm completely off my list. I actually had a list of things I wanted to talk about, and then I got excited. All right, we talked about, let me back up just a little bit. We talked about, hang on, let me get that felon settled. Hang on. We talked about how I had kind of a whole user interface thing planned out to talk about the difference in customizability. So you can change text, you can change spacing, you can change all of those things on all of the devices. But I feel like the Kindle is more customizable, but the Kobos make it easier to check out books. Like you can check out books from Overdrive straight on your device. Like you can see here, I can go straight into Overdrive and check out books. So that's like if you're a Libby person, I almost said if you're a Libby girl, which if you're not a girl, I know, sorry. Because I'm a Libby girl. I know, anyway. If you use Libby, Overdrive is the same thing. Like it's literally the same company. Libby is just an application of Overdrive. But anyway, you can, so for Kindles, you check out your books through Libby and you send them to your Kindle. Well, with Kobos, you check your books out straight on Overdrive through your Kobos, or you can. So that's actually really like one step easier. Kobo makes it really, really easy to, I mentioned that Kindles are locked into the Amazon ecosystem. You can send other stuff. You can send PDFs. We've talked about how to use Calibre to send all kinds of stuff to your Kindle that Amazon doesn't want you to do. Well, Kobo just lets you do it. And we should probably have a longer conversation about this one day, but I would argue that it's easier to buy a Kobo book and zhuzh it up a bit through Calibre and send it to your Kindle than it is to buy Kindle books and zhuzh them up and send them to Kobos and other devices. That might change one day, but up until now, and including now, it's easier to buy Kobo books and send them that way. And we've never had to worry about Kobo doing an update and breaking our ability to use Kobo books on other devices. And that is our constant concern. If we are DRM kind of people, that is our constant concern with Kindles, is you always got to worry about that tomorrow they're going to break DRM. So compatibility across devices, I think, like ability to play well or willingness to play well with others, Kobo's got that one hands down. All right, I think I've hit all of my big points, all of my big differences. I don't think there's much difference reading black and white, like just plain old text on any of these. I think maybe the Colorsoft is a little bit crisper than the others, but as far as my willingness to just sit and read for hours on any of these devices, there's not one that I would not be willing to sit for hours and just read books on. I do love the ability there is one other thing I want to talk about. I do love the ability to annotate straight in a book in the Libra. And the Libra is great for actual like smart note taking, which I will be completely honest, I don't use it for that because I use my Supernote all the time. So there's never been any case in which I've wanted to like use the Kobo for that because I have 3 Supernotes that I use for that, but I have done tests, I have played with it, and it really is a good little e-writing kind of tool. You can make notes. There are lots of different templates for making notebooks. I love how the stylus writes. You can get different styluses if you don't like their stylus. I think that's a great option. If you're looking for, now, let's jump straight into the who should get which one. Because I think we've talked about everything. We talked about price, battery life. If you're a black and white e-reader person, I think you're going to notice that these don't stay charged as long just because of the color. It takes more juice to run color. So, and I tend to keep my screen a little bit higher just because and we didn't like I said, we weren't going to get into the weeds, and I actually didn't get into the weeds, but these screens tend to be a little darker than other e-reader screens because of all of the layers of I just call it layers of gunk, that are sort of on there to provide, like to create that color layer. So it just makes it feel darker. So I run mine at higher light so they just don't stay charged as long, but you're still gonna get weeks. Well, let me say this, I still get weeks of charge, at like weeks off of a charge on each one of these. So battery life isn't an issue for me. So let's talk about for whom each one I think is ideal. Let's start with the Kobo Libra, because that's really what got me on the topic of like who should buy which one. I think this is a fantastic tablet, e-reader, whatever. Well, sort of like e-reader tablet. Let me move this camera. We're done with that. I think this is a fabulous e-reader / tablet for anyone looking for a color e-reader, looking for a great black and white e-reader that will show them their book covers in color, and anyone looking for just a note-taking device. I think this is a great hybrid e-reader note taker. It's got flexibility that we don't find in any of the Kindles. You can read lots of different formats on it. You've got the ability to actually like physically write in your books, and page turn buttons. Oh, y'all, I love me some page turn buttons. And it's just really very comfortable to sit and hold to read for a long time. So that's the Kobo Libra Color. The Colorsoft, if you live in the, look at this, so pretty. If you live in the Amazon ecosystem and you want to read in color, this is your choice, I think. I like, y'all know, I love the ridiculous bells and whistles. I like, hang on. All right, that's better. I don't know why I was still looking down at you. Y'all know I love bells and whistles. So I love the 32 gig one with the wireless Qi charging, the tap to turn the pages, whether you want to turn them or not. I love all of that stuff. I love the 32 gigs of storage that I will never use. I do actually like the auto brightening that it does. I love that. And y'all know I love seeing my book covers in color, which I know is ridiculous, but I don't care. I love it. And hang on, in case you're in your trashy book reading era and you don't want your book covers to show, they have these beautiful splash screens. So you turn off show my book covers and these gorgeous works of art show up. So you look all fancy and highfalutin, not trashy. Love that. Okay, so Clara, on the other hand, is a great option. She is a great just little workhorse e-reader. If you like reading comic books, if you like any of that stuff, PDFs, if you like your stuff in color, you want a smaller, lots of people like a smaller e-reader. I bought a friend a Paperwhite when, they were on like mega sale for Black Friday or something. So I got one for a great deal, bought it for a friend who had been reading on a regular Kindle for years. He tried it for a while and he was like, dude, thanks, appreciate the thought, but the size, like he just preferred and he's like a full grown human male and just liked the size of a regular small Kindle better. So I know this is not a small Kindle, but it is like the size of the small Kindle. So if you like a small e-reader, this might be your option. It's also very affordable. I would argue that this is one of the best budget e-readers out there. I think it's fabulous. I think she is so, so cute. And look at those colors. They're just gorgeous. And that, y'all, that's it's asleep. That's the splash screen. Gorgeous. So I think that's it. Please, y'all, I know I got all excited, got off my list, got down rabbit holes. So let me know in the comments, what did I miss? What questions do you have? Or if you have one of these color e-readers or a different color e-reader, let us know in the comments, what do you love about it? Or what does someone need to know if they're trying to pick a color e-reader? What do they need to know that I missed? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so, so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over on Fit Danielle Eats the beginning of every week, with some book videos over here sprinkled in between. And I do daily devotionals over on Fit Danielle Prays every day. So if I don't see you on one of those, I'll catch you on the next one.